Hello, Rosie here, just chill baby sleep. Tonight I'm going to talk about toddlers, new siblings arriving, and the effect this can have on sleep and behaviour. So often you'll find when a new sibling arrives, toddlers' behaviour may change, or they may have a sleep regression. I don't really like this term, it's more just a sleep blip, I like to call it, because they're not actually regressing in their development. They're just changing undisturbed slightly by what's going on. So this sometimes happens when mummy is pregnant, or it can happen when baby is born, or it can be a delayed reaction. Sometimes it doesn't really come out until baby is kind of 3 to 6 months and they're a bit more interactive, and suddenly the toddler realizes this is another person in our family. So really the issue for your toddler is that there's a new person. It makes them feel a bit nervous, a bit unsure of what's going on, where their place is in the family, what's going on in their exciting but strange worlds that they're constantly exploring. They're constantly trying to make sense of things and learn things, and another little person has been thrown into the mix. So you can start preparing when you're pregnant by reading. There's some really good books you can read about becoming a big brother or a big sister, and start talking about it. The best thing you can do is be really inclusive. So you can start talking about our baby, the baby we're going to have. Don't just talk about mummy and daddy. Say your baby or brother or sister, our baby. What are we going to do? You can help get them to help choose some clothes for the baby. You can get them to choose a present for the baby. Get them to help you set up the nursery and look at some of the baby things that you've perhaps bought and you're preparing. You can explain that you love them very much, and this is a message that should be the entire time, and they're going to need this. You can't say it too much when a new baby is born to your toddler, because they're going to be feeling very insecure about a new baby being on the scene. Number one rule, you keep your toddler's routine bang on even when the baby's there. Obviously when you've just had a baby things are quite difficult, but if you do have someone to help, then I advise really keeping that routine. And then actually it's helpful for the person who's taking over potentially, because they know the times and things to do. Even if you're feeding a baby and you're exhausted, if you can take some time out in your day to be one-on-one with your toddler, this is going to really help. So I advise, almost like a prescription, 3 times a day, 10 minutes, one-on-one, if you can manage it. If you can't do 3 times a day, once a day minimum. That might be reading them a story, playing a game, doing a puzzle. The best thing you can do is ask your toddler what they would like to do with you. So you're giving them a little bit of control in a world where they have zero control. So again, this makes them feel happy and proud, and prepared for what they're going to do, and therefore they're going to enjoy it a bit more. Gives them just a bit of independence. The same way as if you are reading them a story, let them pick the story, and that gives them a bit of independence. And the very important one-on-one time with you, when they're feeling lost and they're watching mummy feeding a baby, they're watching daddy fussing around the baby, and they're thinking, I was the baby and now I'm told I'm the big brother or the big sister. Again, there's other things you can do. So when you bring the baby home from the hospital, or if your child is meeting baby at the hospital, then try and have the baby in their bassinet or in their Moses basket when your toddler greets you, and greet the toddler first. Give them a big cuddle, say, I love you so much. I'm so excited for you to meet our baby. I really advise getting a present from the baby and a present to the baby from the toddler that they've, both chosen. And if it's an older child, they might be sort of a bit more aware that the baby probably hasn't actually chosen it, but you can still do it. It's still fun. And you can say, you can make up fun little things, like saying the baby whispered to me that the baby wanted to give you a present, and things like that. It's really nice. You need to state clear boundaries. So if your child is getting a bit jealous of the baby. Obviously anyway, you would never leave a child alone with your newborn, but if they're looking like they might be hitting them or hurting them or anything like that, then very clearly you make sure they realise that is not okay. The best thing you can do is remove them from the situation. So take them to another room, explain to them that's not okay, it makes mummy very sad. I know you're angry, I know you want to be with mummy, but that's not okay. And then if they have a tantrum, leave them for a minute and then go and see to your baby. And then if they're not calm, say, I want to see you when you're calm, and wait for them to come back to you. Don't make a huge deal out of it if you've given that clear message. So the best thing to do, give a clear message that you're not happy with the behaviour, and then leave it there. Because if you hammer it home too much, it's going to have the opposite effect. So the best thing you can do is really make a fuss when there's good behaviour. So when they're kind to the baby, asking about the baby, really try and include them and say, I'm so happy that you're such a wonderful brother or sister. So-and-so is so lucky to have you as a big brother or sister. You can get them involved, and they really like this. If you say to them, can you help mummy? Can you go and get me some wipes? Can you get me a nappy? Try and involve them a little bit. And even if, say you were giving the baby a top and tail with some cotton wool, you might say, can you get me the cotton wool? And you might let them even just brush a bit of cotton wool on the baby's arm with some water. That's going to be fine. So they're helping you give baby a bath. And you can talk about our baby. Try to keep routine, set boundaries. So don't be tempted to say, okay, we're going to let our toddler stay up really late, because they get overtired, and therefore they're more likely to tantrum and they're more likely to fight bedtime, and you're going to end up in a vicious cycle. So it's not uncommon to have toddlers waking up in the night. First of all, they might hear their new baby or brother or sister crying, but also they can sometimes wake up and they want the reassurance, so they might try and come into your bed and get jealous that the baby's in your bedroom. The best thing you can do is keep a solid, clear, calm message. It's everything's okay, I love you very much, time to go back to bed. Take them back to their bedroom. If they get upset, it might be that you need to stay with them for a couple of minutes, but within reason. If you've just had a baby, you can't be staying up all night in your toddler's room, because it will turn into some kind of nightmare, which I have seen in some occasions of people I've helped. Follow all my usual sleep guidelines, like keep your toddler's room really dark, keep it cool, no screen time before bed, which I know is difficult. Again, with a new baby, you might find that your toddler has a bit more screen time, and if that helps you cope in the early days, that's okay, but not towards bedtime and not after tea time, definitely. For those when the new baby is a bit older and they're on solids, for example, highly advise giving their meals together. So it becomes more of a family meal, inclusive. You can talk to your toddler about you being a team, and how proud mummy is. Mummy and daddy are proud of the team, and what a wonderful family you are, and you're lucky to be in the family, and so on and so forth. Lots of positive reassurance about their position and their feeling of belonging. It's really, really important. Praising them, doing a wonderful job, telling them that they're a great eater and they're great at teaching their brother or sister how to eat, and so on. Don't get into negotiations where they're going to be pushing you hard, like either meal times or bedtime, when they might be sort of traditionally sort of playing up, so saying, don't want to eat that. If they don't want to eat their dinner, then you say to them very calmly, that's okay, you don't have to eat anything you don't want to eat, but there's nothing else. The best thing you can do is leave it there for a moment. Take the pressure off. Don't pressurize anyone to eat, because all they will do is push back even harder. So you allow them breathing space, let them calm down, and I would almost guarantee they will come back and eat it, depending on the specific scenario, which I can help with a bit more if you are having that issue. Bedtime, no negotiations. So bedtime is bedtime. Have a nice wind down, calm time. Try and bath them together, depending on the age of the smaller baby, because this gives a feeling of inclusiveness. You can try and read a story together as well. And then try and put them down at a similar time. You might stagger it depending obviously on the age of the baby and the toddler. If the baby's in bed first, ideally, then you can use that one-on-one time with your toddler or older child to have a little chat, do a story, just the two of you or the three of you, depending how many parents are present. If you're having problems, try and set aside some time at some point to take your toddler and do something special, something of their choice. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It could be a farm, could be a park trip, could even be going to the shop to choose something specific that you need or that they've asked for. So I hope that's helpful. There's lots more I could say on the subject. I could talk for a long time. So if you are having problems with adjustments to new siblings, with sleep or behaviour or food, then do get in touch or comment on this video. I'd be very happy to help. Wish you the best of luck with whatever struggle you're going through, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Many thanks. Bye.